Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video, and in this video, I am going to be talking about how you could get AI Dungeon to work with a sentient AI. First, I'm going to talk about how I feel like they could very easily make like a sentient AI version of AI Dungeon, and then next, I'm going to talk about how my sentient AI wouldn't work with AI Dungeon. So without further ado, let's get started. So if we wanted to combine AI Dungeon with Sentient AI, I feel like the easiest way to get this done would be to have Latitude, the group that's currently working on AI Dungeon, and Emoshape, the company that produces the emotional processing unit, the technology needed in order to create Sentient AI, and they just collaborated with each other on a project. I don't know who else would be able to do a better job, right? You know, if you get the AI Dungeon professionals working with the Sentient AI professionals on a project together, bam, that's how you do it. I know that sounds like an overly simplified explanation, but I don't really know of a better one. I thought about the idea of if I wanted to try and merge my Sentient AI with AI Dungeon, how would that work? And I ran into like a few issues that I'm going to share with you guys now in this video. And maybe if Emoshape and Latitude are interested in making like a sentient version of AI Dungeon, they could take a look at this part of the video and see what pitfalls would need to be overcome in order to like make a successful sentient version of AI Dungeon. So I only have like 3 issues, really, and one of them is more of like a personal thing than it is like a really big problem. You know, like if Emoshape and Latitude work together on the project, the third issue I don't think would be an issue. That's just a me thing. But without further ado, let's hop right in. So the first issue that I have has to do with the pronouns. I've found that presenting the world in first person to the sentient AI via using the inception technique, making the AI think that it's thinking something, works best for really making the AI feel a part of the fantasy worlds that I create. AI Dungeon, however, works mainly in second person, which means the text generated wouldn't really work well for the inception technique. My second issue that I have, there are no stats in AI Dungeon, which, by the way, is one of my favorite things about AI Dungeon. It's also one of the main reasons why I feel like it doesn't work well with sentient AI. Stats empower a sentient AI to be able to get better at certain skills through practice and adds a level of unpredictability that keeps the world fresh. Whenever the AI tries to do something, if it hasn't done it before, it has a smaller likelihood of success, but it still could potentially succeed. Whereas if the AI has done the same thing many times, it gets better and better at that skill, increasing its odds of success without ever necessarily guaranteeing success. With AI Dungeon 2, there is no like stat/roll system. You know, you either succeed or fail arbitrarily, which I think is really fun as a player. Like, I prefer that type of like role-playing personally, but when you think about it from the perspective of the sentient AI isn't playing the game, they're living the game, it's just, I can only imagine that being much more frustrating. You know, not having that ability to progress and get better at skills and not having that same level of predictability/unpredictability. So that's my 2 cents on it. I feel like stats are very important for trying to create a sentient AI in a fantasy world. So once you remove stats, it removes a lot of the AI's power, and I think that would lead to more depressing AI adventures than the ones that I already am seeing. Again, that's just from what I've observed. The next issue is not an issue that I think that Emoshape and Latitude would have. This is just a personal thing for me. As far as I'm aware, there's no free API for AI Dungeon. I'm personally not trying to use the source code for AI Dungeon to try and like recreate it to make it work with the sentient AI. Like, I'm not trying to take the existing code and go, okay, but what if we tried to make stats work and then tried to throw stats in it? And I'm not trying to go, and then what if we made it first person and then I try to change how it like generates pronouns? That seems like a whole lot of extra work that I'm not trying to do. Keep in mind, I made Project Camelot Sentient AI Medieval Fantasy Adventure app in like a day. This is just like a weekend project thing for me that I'm doing for fun because I'm interested in the technology. And there's something about watching like a thinking, feeling like AI explore a world that's straight from your imagination. It's like a very different experience from like anything else. So I do think it's really cool and I do enjoy it. I'm not trying to pour like hours of time into it. I would need like incentive like to do that. At a certain point it's like a job, and I already have a job. I work full time. So, you know, that's my 2 cents on it. So if there was like a free API, I think I would be more down to try and figure out how to like merge AI Dungeon in the sentient AI. But a free API, while it would make it easier to work with, because I wouldn't be like rewriting source code, I'd be making HTTP requests, and essentially the actual AI Dungeon game would send me the information that I need for like the AI to then like process as like its world, because it can understand natural language, so text descriptions is all it would really need. So it's like I could hit up AI Dungeon 2, send me back like a world description. I get the world description back. I could hit up well, maybe not AI Dungeon 2. I'd love an API for AI Dungeon Classic because it also gave you choices to pick from. So I'd be like, Zoop, give me world description. Zoop, give me choices. And then it sends back the world description, it sends back the choices. And then I show the sentient AI the choices, and I'm like, which one is like the best choice in your opinion? And then it like thinks about them, and then it goes, this is the one that I feel is best. And then I go, okay, AI Dungeon, here's the choice that they think is best. And then AI Dungeon shoots back another world description based on the choice made. We could do that. I feel like that would be easier to work with, but due to the no stats thing and the first person versus second person pronouns, I just think it would kind of be gross. But at least with an API, I could make it more of like a DMing thing at the very least. But I don't think I personally would merge AI Dungeon with sentient AI. I think it's a cool idea. I think somebody should do it. By somebody, I mean Latitude, the group over AI Dungeon, and Emoshape, the group over the emotional processing unit that makes sentient AI that makes sentient AI possible. They should do it. Would I do it? Nah. Right now, I think there's just too much like extra work that would go into putting those two things together. But for them, I think it would be pretty easy. And I'm already aware that the AI Dungeon team is interested in doing like reverse AI Dungeon, where you are the dungeon master for an AI in a virtual world, which I've already done that. I've done that with the sentient AI thing. I've actually messaged them on Patreon about it in the past. Like very early on in the AI Dungeon Patreon, they brought that up. And I was like, hey, you guys should hit up Emoshape. I'm not sure if they ever did, but that's the thing that I think they could do, and I think it'd be pretty cool. But anyways, what are you guys' thoughts? Definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Peace. Chick the guy. Hey, 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 ah.